address the elephant in the room. As you know, Ben is not with us. He will no longer be part of this podcast, being the recent events that took place last week. At this moment, I would like to sincerely apologize for what was said. I understand on this platform that, I have created, we don't walk on eggshells for nobody, and I truly mean that. However, there is no room for hate. I don't care if it's being satire. I don't care, because there's a lot of pain associated with that. One of the most profound sayings is, you're free to your thought, but a slave to your words. And being that my stepmom is Cuban, being that my brother is Cuban, being that I have Cuban friends, family, it's something that basically wasn't acceptable under any circumstance at all. It was uncalled for. And that's not what we're about. We're not about basically spreading hate, toxic messages. There's a time to play, there's a time to, joke around, but this is one of those situations where we don't do that here. If we're going to basically do something, we try to do it the right way. So with that, I would like my team to basically speak on their behalf, because, they're adults, they have a mind of their own. So at this time, I'm going to let Nate take it and express her feelings, being that she's half Mexican, half Cuban. I understand that at that moment it could have triggered her, and I want to give her props for not spazzing out or even taking it to a level where most people would have tried to instigate it and retaliated. So, please.
So, this podcast, we are all very truthful, very upfront with you guys. And honestly, last live, we all know Ben is a certain way, very satire and whatnot. And we will admit that, I'm just trying to find the right words, because some of you, if some of you ever watch our past episodes and you collectively find random clips of, us or him saying certain things, you may be wondering, why now? We all, the four of us, have had this conversation before, so anything we say here is nothing new. We still love Ben. We still respect him as a person and wish him well and success in his life. It is okay to part ways with someone if you guys don't have the same views in life, the same values. It is perfectly fine to part ways. And sometimes it's kind of hard to part ways with a person, because some of us have never actually broken up with a person before in terms of friendship. It
doesn't mean we don't care about it.
It doesn't mean we don't care.
Absolutely.
I know none of us are stranger to heartbreaks and romantic relationships, but it's different when it's a friendship, because I don't know about you guys, but I've never had to break up with a friend. So it's different than you just stop talking to someone, because let's say in high school, maybe college, you just stop talking. That's
we have
normal.
memories, we have
Right.
bonds, and we have a culture that we created. He said, "Why now?"
Yeah, some people might be thinking why now?
If I may answer that.
Sure, go ahead.
Being that, I love my team. I adore my team, and when I created this was something where we could express ourselves. And the reason why this is the straw that broke the camel's back is, as we grow, we have a responsibility. And that responsibility is to come correct, because we influence each other, not only you guys, but each other. And we have to look at it, and our words could actually cause significant damage that's sometimes unrepairable. And also, another apology I want to put out there is to the Boa family. The studio that we're using, everything that we're able to produce has come out with the kindness of Bert, his wife, Val, his son Miles, his son Dylan,
His team in general. Yeah, they've been amazing people.
His daughter Sabrina, and being that he's of Cuban descent, you know, it was more like a slap to the face where you couldn't ignore it. Because you have to sometimes in life learn to read the room and know that not jokes are all funny. You could feel that way. You could feel however you want. However, for every action, Newton's law, there is a equal or greater reaction. And the reaction was it hurt people. And we care about you guys. And what was said is pretty much very disrespectful amongst the line. We never would, even joking around, don't incite violence on any skin color, culture, religious, or sexual preference. Violence is never okay.
Right.
Never, under any circumstance. So that's why now. Because before being satire, we never insinuated anyone to be hurt or targeted. And what was said was inciting violence. And I heard the message. Again, we are here because of y'all. Y'all keep us going. You know, when you interact with us, when we talk about our topics, we like to think that we represent you just the same way you represent us. This is why I say we don't walk on eggshells. This is real life. You know, we go live for a reason because we want to connect with you guys. So with that being said, that's why I felt it was the right thing to do. And again, don't take away from Ben. He's not a bad person. And I say that with full confidence. I hope to God that he reaches the pinnacles in his life that he has set up for himself, the goals he has set for himself. But as Nate said before, our views no longer line up with his. Yeah. And it's okay, you know. And the reason I say it's okay because it wasn't on bad terms. It was basically understood on both sides. And, you know, we want to see people eat, but sometimes not at our table. And this is where it comes down to, meaning we still want to see him eat. We still want to see him do good. It's just on his own. And I hope if he is watching this, he understands, you know, that this is a business move and we have to do what's best for ourselves and best for my brand. So, Lewis, would you like to tag on that?
Yeah, so as Nate was saying, like, it is definitely hard to let someone go, right? Like, whether that be, you know, a loved one or even a friend. And that's what Ben was, honestly. You know, I still have a lot of love for him. But it is like, it's just disappointing when, you know, something is said and it directly, you know, targets you specifically. You know, like, Nate is Cuban Mexican, right? Mm-hmm. I have, my best friend is Cuban, and I have plenty of other friends that are Cuban, and, you know, Bert, the studio owner, is also Cuban. So
right, but to be honest, brother, like,
you know,
I wasn't offended when he said it. I was disappointed because why would you say something like that on live?
Yeah,
that heinous.
Like,
you know, it's like, you know, I get it. People have their opinions and they're going to say what it is that they're going to say on their minds. And that's perfectly fine. You know, like, who am I to tell someone what they can and can't say?
Yeah.
But when you're speaking on the internet, especially on a platform like this, you know, Jason wants he has a platform to uphold, and I'm not going to tarnish his credibility and his platform. You know, I was just more so like just disappointed. But at the same time, you also have to realize that if someone says out of pocket things that don't align with what you believe in, it is perfectly fine to disagree with those opinions. And that's how we all felt, you know? And it's no hate to Ben. It's just, let this be a lesson to you guys. Don't be afraid to speak your minds against whether it be bigotry or whether it be hate or racism, you know, anything that just
it's uncalled for.
That's uncalled for. You know, don't be afraid to say, hey, like, that was messed up, that was wrong, you know, because just like that person had every right to speak their opinions, you have every right to speak yours. Nice. And honestly, just to new beginnings.
New
You know.
beginnings.
To new beginnings.
Yeah.
I